So, you know, one of my recommendations is to be aware and be in the moment and be looking at what's missing, because only by seeing what's missing can you think, well, what can I create? Do you get what I mean? So if something is missing, that's when the creativity starts.
I've never met any black author. What was the process like in becoming an author?
It took me 8 years from the time I asked myself the question, why don't any of the characters look like my daughter, to actually having the book published. It took me 8 years because there was lots of resistance in between that period. I talked about, you know, not seeing myself as an author. That was in itself an obstacle.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until I actually took ownership of that idea and said, right, this is something I'm going to move forward and I'm going to make it happen. It wasn't until 2016 that I started the process of writing the book, and I had the support of my husband. I started doing some Google searches on literally how do you write a book, because I've not written one before. I started researching it. I had an idea about the plot, my characters, where I'm going to set it, and then I thought, well, how do I get in contact with other people that have written books? So I found my local writers circle, and I decided to go along to that and see what that was about. And when I went to that session, because they meet up every month, I got to meet people that have had articles in magazines published, but also books published as well. So then I got talking to them and got an understanding of how certain things work. And then I met someone that had had a book published, and she introduced me to a publisher. And so that's how it all happened.
For someone that wants to write a book, where should they start from?
I would say start with what you have. Start with your experiences and just reflect on things that have happened in your life that have had an impact. And like I said earlier, looking at what's missing for you, and can you use your experiences to create something which will fit into that piece that's missing. I'd also recommend people check out Book Brilliance Publishing. I'm also a diversity and inclusion ambassador at Book Brilliance Publishing, and we have monthly events called Awaken Your Voice. You might be interested in writing a book, but you don't know where to start. So come along to that, get some ideas, have a conversation with the managing director there, Brenda Dempsey, and you know, we can take it from there.
A lot of people of our colour, or of the same ethnicity or background, they might think, oh, we will never have the opportunity to write that book or write a book. What could we start doing to start changing their mindset about, or their attitude towards writing a book, so that their creativity and their ideas and won't just die in their minds and in their heads, but can also be put out there for people to enjoy?
Start with yourself. You know, at the end of the day, it took me a while to take ownership of my idea, but when I did, I just, you know, was in flow and was on purpose. And in the end, it got published in February. Right now, the publishing world needs more diverse stories. And the more diverse stories that we read and share, the better understanding we should have of people that are different to us.
Coming to like the final few questions, in terms of the writing of the book, how long does it actually take to write a book?
Great question. I'm
thinking of writing one as well, but I don't want it to take too long.
Well, it's not going to take you 4 years, that's for sure. I think with some discipline, and obviously once you have an idea, I can't give you exact numbers, but I can tell you that the process of having an idea and having some support, that could take 120 days. So just 4 months, if you're really disciplined and, you know, focused. I've started working on my second book during lockdown, so I've been really focused this time round, because I know the first one might have taken me 8 years. I know definitely the second one is not going to be taking me years.
Any final words that you'd like to say?
I believe everybody has at least 2 books inside of them. And really and truly think about what's missing. Create something that will have an impact on somebody's life. Just share a story, because you'll never know how impactful it can be until you actually verbalise your story. And thank you so much for the opportunity as well for the interview. I really appreciate it. And if anyone wants to connect with me, I've got a Facebook group and I'm also on Twitter. It's Joyce Osei 17 on Twitter and Facebook, Joyce Osei.
I've been very, very inspired by what she's done, and I think a lot of you would be inspired as well. Since growing up, I've not seen any book which resonates to me, and then to finally have a book that resonates to me, not just to me as well, to a wide variety of people. We live in a multicultural society, and
absolutely.
For us not to have a book that we can resonate to is a shame on our aspect, but the fact is, someone has taken that step to be able to create that platform, to be able to create the book, and I think this is something that we all should really appreciate, and this also should open more opportunities for other people as well to get involved, because I'm sure we have a lot of creative people, might even go beyond your level of creativity.
Absolutely.
But if you're not sure, you believe that the opportunity are not there, you can always come and contact her, or you can also look at Book Brilliance Publishing, and that would definitely open your mind and give you more opportunities.
How will you feel if you see a black character in a book, in your storybook?
I will love it.
My name is Heidi K, the TV girl. I want to talk about how to with you if our kid's storybook has a black character. To be honest, I find it very fascinating.
All the books, or majority of the books that I read growing up, they were mainly white characters. There would maybe be one or two minority characters.
Seeing a black character in a book can make them know their heritage more.
We want to be able to see ourselves in these stories and books that we're reading.
Obviously, it's your boy, Mr. CV. I'm done for today. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Mr. CV.
Subscribe, like. That's enough.